Going live.
I have what to do tonight. Yes. Let's start recording. Good evening, everyone. It is 6:13. My name is Marilyn Peña. I am the chairperson for Health and Human Service Committee, here at CB1. I am going to start with introduction. I'm going to pass along to my left.
I'm Marcelo Villagran, Community Board 1 member, and also Lincoln Community Advisory Board.
Yes. Diana?
Oh, I'm sorry, Diana Leonard, with the Bronx Community Board 1 Community Associate.
Christine Licata, Community Board 1 member. Yes.
My name is Lorenzo Rios. I'm a constituent of this community board, born and raised in the South Bronx.
Welcome.
Jose Quintana, New York City Department of Health.
How are you doing?
Jose Lopez, local resident.
Thank you. Welcome.
Anthony Jordan, District Manager to the board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chair. Just a reminder to everybody in the audience, our meetings are going to be broadcast live on our social media outlets, including our YouTube channel at Bronx Community Board Number 1. Madam Chair, we have a very short agenda for you today.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thank you guys for coming and joining. It's going to be very short, but we will talk about the old businesses, and we are going to pretty much focus on the health symposium that is still in the works. We've been brainstorming every week aggressively. We're trying to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't, and what is the topic that we should first discuss on. I'm going to pass it over to the district manager to give us a little bit of an insight of what that's going to look like in August, and also the potential of the series of it. So I know we initially said that we were going to do one event, but I think it would make sense because of the health disparities in the area within our community. I think it would be best for us to actually implement a series of 4 sessions or more. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Chair. So exciting to talk about this. The South Bronx has been known, unfortunately, for all too long about the negative health disparities that have been impacting our community. We have been 62 out of 62 of the most unhealthiest counties for far too long. And the community board under Chairperson Peña leadership has decided to attack this disparity that has been impacting our community by working to empower our community and empower our health institutions to ensure that they are meeting the needs of today's health disparities in our district. Heart disease, early onset issues of cancer, diabetes, etc. There has been infant mortality, and especially for Black and Brown women, and also immunization, along with so many other issues. And we have great opportunity to empower also our public health institutions to lead that challenge along with us. And so what we are going to be doing is working to dispel the myths for Black and Brown and other individuals, especially men, to be able to help make sure that they know what are the health disparities and what they should be doing as consumers and living in our district to help fight and work on using our public health and other institutions to help fight those issues. And also working to help strengthen and set standards for our health institutions to ensure that they are meeting the challenge together with us. Far too long, our public health hospitals, emergency rooms have been overwhelmed with dealing with emergency situations that have exacerbated over a period of time, sometimes to apparently dealing with issues that could be worked on in the very beginning stages through seeking primary care and specialties assistance. But we want to make sure that these systems have the resources, the quality assurance, and customer service in order to meet that charge. And by making sure that we also have the science on hand to be able to ensure that we're speaking to our constituency in a very proactive and not a reactive way. Mm-hmm. So working together with our leaders in the city council, our public health institutions, our qualified federal qualified health clinics, etc. We're going to be working very closely in the coming days to put together a Changing the Narrative health symposium, with our public health institutions, where we're having conversations with practitioners and specialists in these multiple areas. Like I talked about geriatric, pediatric, mental health, and other health disparities, to be able to help people understand how to make conscious, smart decisions to help fight so many health disparities that are in our community. COVID has pulled back the Band-Aid and showed what our health institutions could do. And we want to meet that and supercharge it in a way to provide these education conversations, speaking plain language to our constituents, to ensure that they can make the decisions and also make as consumers of our public health institutions, to ensure that they are fighting against all these issues. And so thanks to the chairperson's leadership, we are excited to announce our partnership in working with these institutions to have these conversations, to invite our elected officials and other community leaders and advocates to help have these very, I guess, engaging educational conversations, and to incite a new, not only wealth of knowledge, but also energy that's going to be touching our clinics and touching our health leaders, to be able to share that knowledge in a very, like I said, proactive way. So we thank our partners that are working with us, and we're going to be soon working very closely with our, like I said, our public hospital systems and clinics and federal qualified health centers. And I thank the chair for making this a mission that when she first became the chair of this committee, to ensure that we have to be doing something very engaging with around health. We're also going to be using this issue to also help ignite what our recreational centers and other institutions are going to be doing to help provide free exercise and engaging classes of so it will engage other policy makers to making sure that we can make sure that we are legal focus and setting standards.
And our voices heard.
And our voices heard, but setting
Yeah.
standards, because all too long we have been talking about this and about health and disparities in the South Bronx. It is time to not only have conversations, but have proactive solutions and policy changes. So we thank you, all of you who are in the audience, and those who are working with us in the future about that. If you're interested, please talk with the chair or engage with the community board office about how you can definitely take part in this big initiative. Together with that, chair, I want to announce that we are also planning on not only just doing these conversations, but having a health fair, which would also get people signed up to become insured and not underinsured, to be able to, all those things are actually extremely important. This is something that we're still building in the making, but it is a key mission for this committee and this community board. And again, thank you, Madam Chair, for your leadership and making this task a reality. So
Thank you.
thank you so much.
I mean,
Nice.
yes. We've been working really hard. The focus is to change the narrative within Lincoln Hospital, and just inviting and also educating the community of what Lincoln has to offer, and also bring in experts in regards to certain umbrellas of that health disparities. There's a lot of families and individuals in the area who are not relying on the proper resources, or just not fully informed of what services that Lincoln offers. And so we want to be able to be not only a huge support system, but also be informed on what services they offer and how can we be able to mitigate through certain challenges. So I thank you. And we're still working on certain ideas and to brainstorm. So the health fair is expected to be in August as well. The health symposium is supposed to be a 4-series invite of conversations, and just inviting the community of what they're able to speak about, and also just be open to speak about things where there's a lot of challenging things that's happening and barriers. So we want to be able to support with them. So I have nothing else to say. So we conclude to the next step, which is our presentation with Lorenzo Rios. So I'm gonna pretty much speak on the intro bill 0641-2024. And this bill, I'm going to give you a brief summary. The bill would require that at least 2 meals on restaurants' children's menus meet certain nutrition standards and direct Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to develop regulations regarding the identification and promotion of meals that comply with those standards. I love this. I'm a mom to a 10-year-old, so I can only imagine how parents feel with their children when that's not the only thing, but usually when they get out of school. That's the quick meal, the quick fixer-upper. The bill will also remove flavored milk as a beverage that can be offered with a children's meal at a restaurant and will reduce the serving size of juice offered with a children's meal in a restaurant. You have the floor.
Hi,
Come on
thank
up.
you.
You can come up here and then, yeah, because we're live. We want to show your face. And thank you so much for taking the
You're
time to
welcome.
come here.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
So I'll go very briefly over
Yeah, I'm into
testimony supported for intro 0641-2024. So hello, chairperson and members of the committee. My name is Lorenzo Rios, and I was born and raised in the South Bronx. I'm here today to voice support for intro 0641-2024, a bill that is currently laid over in community. As an individual has experienced firsthand the impact that unhealthy food environments have on children, the passage of this legislation is necessary. Underserved neighborhoods like my own are often populated with fast food options and few healthy alternatives. Most children's menus in restaurants offer sugary drinks and meals that are high in fat, sodium, and calories, meals that have little to no nutritional value.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, parents and caregivers do not have enough time to prepare meals as they are often working several jobs to make ends meet. Intro 0641-2024 will ensure that parents have healthy meal options when going to restaurants. This bill will help families experiencing food insecurity as healthier food choices will become more accessible. It will also allow families to establish lifelong healthy habits and reduce the risk of diet-related diseases. I urge Community Board 1 to support the passage of the bill when it returns to committee, as it will ensure that the health of our children is supported. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
Thank you. I'm going to open the floor for any questions. And this is an amazing bill because I think that there's a lot of parents and also grandparents. I'm a working mom, and I do have my mom taking care of my kids. So I can only imagine how grandparents are, when they have to pick up their grandkids from school or after school, and the first stop for a meal is McDonald's. And I think we need to really be aggressive in terms of what is out there, what they're serving, the ingredients, and things of that nature. Can you tell me a little bit more why you decide to bring this upon us? Like, what's the main niche of it?
The main focus is, being as a constituent of this community board, I would just like to see our communities, like you've mentioned before, address health disparities and tackle them. And I think one of them is our diet that we feed to our children.
Yeah.
As we all know, our children are the future, and we want to make sure that they're as healthy as possible. So in our communities, we want to make sure we foster an environment of healthy food choices where we're not choosing between unhealthy things and there's limited food options. It will also hold restaurants responsible and accountable. If we set standards, hopefully they will be able to follow and put forth nutritional meals for our children.
Yeah. I can open the floor. You guys want to ask any questions?
So when would this go through?
So it was laid over in committee on December of 2024. They haven't gotten any updates since then, but there was a hearing on it on March of 2024 and then December as well.
And you guys do not need any letters of support.
I currently don't need any letter of support, no.
But will you request a letter of support in the future if needed?
If possible, yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So an extremely important bill is to look at some of the issues that have been impacting our community. Obesity is one of them.
Yeah.
And some of the things that unfortunately that has been readily available, like the Chair mentioned, to our community, unfortunately, because of so many things that are happening in the fast food, is fast food. And it's all in its name. But one thing that was happening with fast food is that it has neglected to be able to speak to what are some of the nutritional facts about it. I know that in previous legislation, the other mayoral administrations have used talked about sodium, because sodium was something that was hidden for a long time. It was something that was impacting so many social health conditions, hereditary diseases like high blood pressure and so on. And I know that some of our fast food places have done very minimum things like introduce fruit and other stuff, but not have talked about the nutritional value. Have you done any statistical work about what has fast food done negatively to our community or this community's period with by the ingredients or the non-nutritional value of it over a period of time?
So in general, for restaurants, they are trying to ease their way in. I already know they tried to introduce some healthy meals, and they got the support of some popular soda companies and things to also hop on board to get soft drinks off the children's menu. So they seem to be on board in general restaurants to allow this healthy standards to be placed within their facilities.
And if I could, Chair, and so what I'm thinking that while this bill and this is being introduced by Kevin Rowley, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Rowley. Do you feel the bill goes far enough?
I think it's a good first step. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution to the health disparities and food deserts and food insecurity. I think it's a good first step, especially like mentioned before, for those underserved, those parents that are very busy and caregivers that might have limited options. We want to make sure that there's as much healthy options to feed their children.
I wanted to talk about other things that are available to children, because what I find also often is that fast food is cheap.
Yeah.
Quick, but food that is healthy and has more nutritional value is more expensive. What do you think that we should be doing as a community and a grassroots organizing to ensure that more options are available for us at income levels that have been reflected in this community, so that we have more options? Like, for example, we understand that eggs are now almost, and this, I'm not saying eggs are nutritious, but eggs are like close to $12 to $13 for a dozen. We know that, unfortunately, programs have been put into place to ensure that families who live in Black and brown communities have access, like SNAP has not had seen an increase in decades. We know that WIC, which is another nutritional program, has not seen that has never matched, and these are programs by having critical standards, but have never matched the need to really change the nutritional impacts that bad food has made into our community, with all the other environmental and other health conditions. What should we be doing more? What other issues should we be speaking to? And I gave you a little cheat sheet with the SNAP and other stuff. Should we be looking at, and or is that something you want to share at a later time with the committee? Because while our job is to definitely become more educated, but it's to also advocate strongly where we feel government can do more on the state and city and federal standards to meet impact that's been going on for a long time. And then I'll stop and leave it open for our colleagues. Some of us is in public health at the hospital system, and so Lincoln has seen its share of prolonged effects that who are affecting children. There's more juvenile related diabetes, and then into people who into adulthood are suffering from so many issues around heart disease and everything else. So my question is kind of long, but I want to ask, what other things you think that we should be focusing on as we look at attacking these negative health impacts that have been affecting our community for too long, like charging restaurants, bodegas, etc.
I think that's a very important question, and one thing that would be very helpful is often farmers markets and produce markets. And as you mentioned, unfortunately, people on WIC and SNAP are getting sort of benefits that you mentioned from before. So just having the community aware and signing up to these services, because sometimes these services are out there, it's just people might not be aware. So expanding knowledge on access to food markets and farmers markets where they can get fresh produce would be a great first step.
and I know that some parts and with this chair, I know that some administrations like have introduced diets in our public school systems, like to engage changing the health dynamics, like no meat Fridays or no meat Mondays, something like that, and these other things. I believe we can go further. Like I said, like you're doing today, you're supporting this legislation because it is a small drop in the bucket to be able to look at an issue that has been impacted so long. I was a child of flavored milk in the school, so I didn't want the milk that's with chocolate and strawberries. So I want to say that was the thing, but and we never would never knew, and so sometimes we were always behind the 8 ball, finding out about how something that we've been unfortunately accustomed to doing for such a long time has been impacting our families and our communities. And so I encourage you to stay engaged with the board, especially this committee, as you look at this issue and others that are going to be definitely studying the impacts that have led to so many social health conditions, especially, and I want to say this, Chair, it is being researched that cancer or certain cancers that has been impacting people at historically at a later age, 50 or something, when you usually have to be evaluated for those cancers, are now finding people are being impacted by those diseases at an earlier stage in life, in their 40s, and sometimes some people in their 30s. And some people, when they do find out they're in the later stages of this disease, and they're looking at diets to determine whether or not that has a direct impact amongst other environmental issues, like where do you live and so on, that has been impacted. So I just ask that you stay engaged with this community as we look at this and other issues, because we have the ability to recommend strongly, especially in this current climate where we are in federal government, where they're pulling more of the health science and studies that are going to be looking at these diseases. And so we get further behind the 8 ball. We want to make sure that we are still keeping the fire lit here in the city and state government, and advocacy like you're doing today is extremely important. So I thank you for being a leader and strong coming out. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
May I piggyback on that and just ask?
Sure.
It would be wonderful if, I'm not sure if this is part of the work that you do all the time, is working within nutrition and health, but maybe you'd like to be part of even the symposia that we're doing. Is this something you do as a constituent in your other areas?
My current interest is in public health. I'm currently a graduate student in the CUNY School of Public Health. So this is just some work that I'm very interested in, that goes beyond the classroom, and I hope to get more engaged with the community at hand.
Very inspiring.
Yeah, I do have a question. Is this like the only board you have been presenting this bill, or has been
this
other?
is the only current board due to time constraints.
Due to time constraints,
I haven't been able to do anything else. What I do have this Friday is speaking with the legislative director from District Member 12, District Board 12, where Councilmember Riley is at.
Nice.
Just to get an update, sort of the standing on the bill and what can be done as an individual to help support the bill.
Okay, and I see here in the system that on March 7th, he introduced this bill by council. So he presented this action at City Council. Has there been any feedback in regards to when he presented that, or it's still in the works for him to go, for you to acknowledge or inform other boards?
To my knowledge, I don't know anything that happened past December, which was the last hearing.
Okay, December 2nd, 2024. Got it. I think this is a good bill. I think this is something that we need to have on the record, because as a parent, and also for other parents as well who are raising their children, it's a concern. There's not a lot of things that when you buy a Happy Meal. You don't know what's in that chicken, chicken nugget. It's something that my son always get. And then I think being able to inform the community what's the ingredients to the meats and things of that nature, I think that can help understand how to balance a diet. We're not trying to bash McDonald's or whatever it is, but this is the norm. This is what happens when we take our kids out of school and we don't want to cook right away. We take them, the first stop is McDonald's. And I think this is something that the community needs to be fully informed and aware in regards to it. And so I'm gonna pass this along to Marcelo, and then I'm gonna open it to the floor so that they can actually ask the questions that they need to ask.
Yes, quickly. Like, I have a question. Do you have any statistics regarding?
Yeah.
Statistics?
Yeah, because remember, like, just in the South Bronx, we have like a strong diversity of cultures. Quickly, just we have the Ecuadorian restaurants, Brooklyn 138. Honduras restaurant, we have San Anse in 147. Peruvian and Mexican restaurant, with San Anse in 149. We have another like the Dominican restaurant, right, Morris in 150. So, do you do you have the time to review those menus for the childrens? Did you identify restaurants? Remember, like just a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago, the Department of Health brought like another project dealing with the bodegas to reduce in charge of like a 2% meal, maybe in regular meal 2%. In that time, like staff for the Department of Health, we were working with catchment areas, identifying bodegas. That's what I say, like. Do you identify restaurants, bodegas? They are dealing with that. It was the percentage. So
Okay, so my angle was more for food insecurity. I did not do the research on the restaurants
Okay.
specifically individually. My focus more was on food insecurity in New York City, especially with those households that are single parent households experience food insecurity at a higher rate than those that are double parent households. So my angle on it was more for food insecurity and not what currently the restaurants are offering and how that can be improved.
I also want you to
Yeah.
clarify too, because I'm automatically thinking it's McDonald's, but in general, it's
Mhm.
literally restaurants in general,
Correct.
children's menus.
Mhm.
So I wanted to just let the record reflect that it's not just it's just restaurants. Yeah. Because I automatically think that, but also it's also good to know that this bill is targeting restaurants for children's menu because you do not know what is the nutrition standards and what is the ingredients. A lot of the times they just, God forbid, but they're cooking whatever they have in the kitchen. And I think this is something that's very informative for you to present to other boards because it's something that we want to, one, be able to back you guys up on that because there are a lot of families who do have children and we want to be able to fully be informed on what is out there and what we can be able to fully give our kids for a proper good diet, whatever that means. So I'm going to open the floor to the public and introduce yourself and then just ask a question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wilfredo Lopez. So, funny story. In 2019, I worked at the city council. I was legislative director, and I wrote local law 75 in 2019. Feel free to look it up. It's called Happy Healthy Meals. That was the law that actually eliminated the sodas from children's Happy Meals and other restaurants. It dedicated 1% flavored and unflavored milk, as well as 100% fruit juice, sparkling water, or regular water. The reason why flavored milk and fruit juice was kept there was because the American Heart Association actually testified to say that children in low-income households typically have a deficit of vitamin D and calcium. So even the small risk of an increase in some dietary sugar wasn't going to be overweighting, like it wasn't going to override the health benefits gained from drinking 1% milk. I read over the bill quickly. I had to look it up. My biggest concern is compared to the bill I wrote in 2019, this bill seeks to increase the number of calories from 500 to 550, but it actually sets a limit on sodium levels to 700, which is actually pretty high. It reminds me of one of the biggest objectors when we passed the law in 2019 was McDonald's. And if I recall correctly, and I can look through my records, those were what they were trying to get into the bill, and we fought hard against it. What I would suggest is take a look at the hearing and see if McDonald's offered testimony. A lot of times the way that they get laws through is they'll wait till a council member leaves who passed the law and then get someone else to introduce a good-looking bill with their changes in it. And they'll throw something, something extra in it to make it look really appealing. But I'm a little concerned with their request for increased sodium levels, because that's a telltale sign that this might be a bill that's being actually pushed. And nothing against Councilmember Riley, he's a fantastic council member. But it might be the kind of thing where this might be McDonald's actually trying to overcome local law
Right.
75 of 2019.
Yep.
So I would just say, do a little bit of research, and when you have that meeting with them, ask those questions.
Yeah.
It could be innocuous, but as someone who spent better part of a year fighting this legislation to get it passed, it just raises a flag when I see the sodium and the calories going up.
Yep.
And did you say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear, well, Law 75, you said?
Local law 75.
Was
of
the one you were
2019.
talking about?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not every day one of my old laws comes
Yeah.
back.
I think good timing though that you.
Yeah, that's why I'm here like looking through. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
This is really.
Yeah, but it's also good to know, because we want to be able to support you.
Yeah.
And when that time comes of you guys requesting a lot of the support, we want to make sure that the statistics, the numbers, proof, receipts, everything backs up to that bill, so that the community is well informed on how to mitigate with this bill. So I think this is really good. Any questions? I'm actually excited. I want to be a part. Any questions? Yeah. Oh, okay.
My name is Herman Francis. I'm a lifetime community resident in this Bronx County. Committee Board 1, School Board 7. I used to go to Committee Board 1. Matter of fact, I was Vice President of School Board 7 for Blueberry, Assumed Mayoral Control. Well, it is the William War. I was watching one Sunday afternoon years ago, CNBC, they had Representative Kraft Foods on there talking about, yes, we hired scientists and chemists to work in our kitchen because we want to make the food addictive. And when they took home economics out of school curriculum, and I retired from retail, and about making a profit, that's why they went to come to the supermarket and these food stores hungry. And that's why they put the milk and the bread in their back. So you walk back there and they put the high profit stuff at eye level so you can smash stuff and put a hole in your pocket. And every book I read about nutrition says this, and even theology, because the medical profession right here, it has a saying, 3-3-3. Yeah, the person lives 3 minutes without air, 3 minutes, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So you're not going to starve. You're not going to starve. Let's get that up front. And every book I read about nutrition and theology got that hard to say, you got to clean out your system. That if you eat 3 times a day, you're supposed to go to the restroom 3 times a day. But you eat once a day, clean out your system. You can try it, you fast. Stop eating 3 or 4 days, drink clean water, you won't be able to stand your own smell. But most people are not going to do that. Because I see what they put in the soup and in their carts. Getting back to your point right there. Because salt is a preservative. And when I worked I worked for all the supermarket chain.
What's the question?
So I'm looking for solutions to educate the people. Because I look at these food lines out here and when they get ready to talk about food
Insecurity.
food insecurity. There's plenty of food out there, just that the people are not educating themselves how to eat proper. That's the bond. And what it is, we gotta get down to education process, how to eat proper. And everything I read in simple listen, they talk about how the United States has one of the worst obesity rates in the world, and so forth. And then we're doing it, and people that live in the system, they're doing it to themselves. Unfortunately, the food is there. The United States feeding itself. But the people don't want to put down that fork and back away from the plate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions?
Yes, I
Yes.
have a question. And you mentioned that you're about food insecurity.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jordan, you mentioned schools and things like that. And my question has to do is the bill strictly for fast food and mom and pop chains restaurants, or would you be working with DOE as well? Because we know in some cases, some families or some children, school is where they get the food that they're going to eat. And school, we at the Department of Health, we tried a campaign a few years ago to get schools to voluntarily remove chocolate milk or flavored milks from their menu. And it was with mixed results. So my question would be then, does the bill work with schools, or is there any possibility of working with schools, the New York City Department of Education, to address the flavored milk in their schools?
So for Racine, it's for restaurants. And basically speaking, and that's a good point that you brought up, schools where children get a lot of their food from. Hopefully when I get to speak with the legislative director from District 12, I get to, incorporate that to see if there's anything that will address schools and the nutrition there. I think that's a very good question.
Madam Chair, can I add something?
Yes.
So it won't attack, they won't be able to touch DOE.
DOE, they won't.
Unfortunately, DOE, the city council is very limited in what they can tell the DOE to do. It typically becomes a state matter. Now, there were two companion state bills. I believe Senator Gernardis had one of them, I forget the assembly member, that would have put a mandate on DOE, but unfortunately it didn't pass. And it was meant to eliminate sugary drinks. And they listed, I think it was like a 50-calorie limit on sugary drinks. So it would have allowed for like some like flavored milk, but not like the flavored milk that we have nowadays. As delicious as it is, it's not, it's not good for the kids.
Thank you. Yes, no? Okay. Thank you so much. I think we have concluded this presentation.
Yeah.
And if we have any further questions, we'll definitely.
I just want to mention, Chair, for the record, this bill was supported by multiple members of the New York City Council, and the bill has been reintroduced in March, so it's been this still has a majority support of multiple members of the City Council, so it's likely to be heard again. And
so it's not just the Bronx; it's also Manhattan as well.
Citywide, yes,
yeah, citywide. Yeah.
So this is a conversation, so we look forward to hearing more once you learn from Councilmember Rowley about the impact, as the members of the audience and the committee has talked about. And I'm very interested, Chair, with your permission, to learn about statistically what does the bill hope to statistically accomplish as we look to engage our communities and what health disparities. So I'll make sure that I look forward to hearing from you once you have that conversation.
I think that's very important because I think the community is gonna want to ask. They're gonna want to know what the statistics is and what they are. Yeah. Give me 1 second. And so we want to make sure that not only do we support you, but also know exactly how to really educate and inform the community what those numbers are. Because there's families, they have children, and we want to make sure that we are supporting and also feeding our kids the right meals. And a lot of the times it's always in a rush. But yeah, we will definitely support you guys. We just want to be able to have the actual number, the statistics right in our hand so that we can be able to mitigate to that. Go ahead, Francis.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I know we're working right now.
Thank you so much.
Has this presentation ever been made for the citywide school board? But they meet once a month, and I know they have public. Has this presentation been made for the citywide school board?
I've not done it for the citywide school board.
Okay.
Okay. I have to say that out loud?
No.
Okay, all right. So we're pretty much done with this presentation. Thank you so much, Lorenzo. This is very informative. I appreciate your time. I don't have any new businesses, but I will shout out to Dogs of Mott Haven. It is a potential dog park. We had our Earth Day today. We've been hustling and bustling, cleaning a potential dog park lot. And please follow Dogs of MH on Instagram. Get all the daily information that we do post on the page. And shout out to Jonas. He has done a tremendous work, and he has been doing amazing community work in the area. And we want to be able to acknowledge and shout him out. And a lot of other businesses and potential community work. Please let us know what you guys do so that we can better support you the best way we can. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Christine Cara.
Oh, yeah, one last thing.
Well, I'm about to adjourn I'm about to adjourn this meeting, Francis. What you got going on?
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
Go ahead, go.
We know we got serious issues in this district committee board one.
Yes, sir.
The education school board thing, and plus the jail.
Yeah.
We also know that this district supplies a whole lot of what's called people into the state prison system based on their failure in the educational system. And I run a whole lot of adults with children. They ask me how to help out their child.
10
So
seconds.
I told them they're having a legal night session this Thursday evening. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
At the top is
Oh, okay.
the top is what to do with your child needs legal assistance.
Okay.
Legal educational assistance.
All right. Thank you. Time is up. Thank you so much. Can I get a second to adjourn?
Yes, I'm Marcelo.
All right, perfect. Any sessions, any nays, all in favor?
All in favor.
Aye. That's it. Thank you. I called it. I said this meeting was gonna go quick.
You guys are wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mama. Thank you so much for coming. I know usually we have a full house. Do you
Yeah,
not?
I really think it's a spring
It's
break
the
thing.
spring break. Yes.
You guys can join us in the auditorium in the Borough